we were listening to the Great District Agency World Emergency Scanner. There were multiple attacks where the victims were drained of their blood, and their eyes were missing. The bodies were always found underneath heavily dense trees in local neighborhoods and wooded areas. Apparently, the incident always happens at night, and there are no witnesses. I told Claire, our Great District Agency AI, about the evidence we heard from the World Emergency Scanner, so she could help figure out what attacked the people. And Claire said,
"It was a tree gimp. They were first seen in the 1600s. They only hunt from trees at night and burrow themselves in the ground during the day. They live and hunt with their mate. One will intentionally distract you with a clicking sound and let you see it, while the other will attack you from the side or rear. They can jump up to 100 feet, lift a ton, and run up to 60 miles per hour. You can catch it alive with a magical witch spell from the Book of the Sleepers. It neutralizes them, keeping them frozen in time until they are released from the spell."
Tracie, Chris, and I looked at each other, and I said, "Tracie, you perform the spell. Chris and I will protect you." Tracie and Chris looked worried. We went to the last place the bodies were found. We arrived at the location at night. There is an abandoned house in the middle of the woods. The house has large, thick trees all around it. We heard noises coming from everywhere. We had our flashlights out and started walking around to look for clues. Tracie screams. The bushes next to Tracie shook, and a raccoon runs out. I called Tracie. "Tracie, are you okay?" Tracie said, "Yes, a raccoon scared me." Chris laughed. I noticed it got very, very quiet. Not a sound. You couldn't even hear the crickets. I hear the tree gimp. Chris screams, and his eyes get big, and he starts shaking. Chris sees something in the distance, standing next to a tree. Then it jumped up about 50 feet into the tree. Chris remembered what Claire said about them hunting in pairs. He started to look around everywhere for the second one. Chris called us over. "Tracie, Stanley, come quick. I saw something." Tracie and I ran over to Chris. Chris said, "I noticed something standing next to the tree over there. It looked about 7 feet tall, and his eyes was glowing. Then it jumped straight up into the huge tree." Chris said, "Should we go over there?" Tracie said, "We should wait here and keep an eye on the tree." I said, "Yep, we have to keep a lookout all around us for the second one." We heard it again. It appeared peeping from behind the tree, and it stood there and stared at us. Then it slowly went back behind the tree. It sounds even closer now. Chris started pointing at something behind me. Oh, it appeared again, but it was peeking from behind a closer tree this time. We started looking around for the other one, so it didn't sneak up on us. Now we were getting very nervous. It was still staring at us. It slowly ducked back behind the tree. It's coming from behind an even closer tree. It's getting closer and closer. I asked Tracie and Chris, "Do you see the other one? This one is getting too close." The other one came up from a hole next to the boulder near Tracie. Chris ran towards the truck. I said, "Chris, come back." Tracie started to cast a spell on both of them, but one chased Chris. Tracie went ahead with her spell. Tracie said, "From the Book of the Sleepers, Abucha, Belhim, Nima, Bave, Nia." And it froze in time. Chris was still being chased.
Help me!
Then the tree gimp jumped up into the trees. Chris came over. Chris said, "It almost got me." I said, "You shouldn't have ran. It was playing with you. Remember, it could run up to 60 miles per hour." Chris said, "Oh, I forgot about that." I said, "It will probably come back since we have its mate." Chris said, "I see Tracie caught the other one." Tracie said, "No thanks to you." So we hid on the other side of the abandoned house to see if it would return for its mate. We heard something moving near us. We looked around fearfully. Another raccoon came out of the bushes behind us. There's that sound again. It rose up from behind the boulder, and it stood next to its mate. Tracie started the spell. From the Book of the Sleeper. It jumped into the trees before Tracie could cast her spell. Now it could be anywhere in the trees. We heard its clicking sound over by the boulder, next to the frozen tree gimp. An owl flies out of a tree next to us and over our head. The tree gimp is standing right next to us. Chris ran, and Tracie locked in on the tree gimp and started her spell. From the Book of the Sleeper. Abucha, Belhim, Nima, Bave, Nia. And the tree gimp froze.